Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, The Gentleman Reviewer. Oh man, it's been a day. So I almost did not get this post done because this morning I wake up to a tweet from someone saying that, hey, your blog's giving me a 404 error. Are you still have your website live? Tweeted back, I was like, yeah, it's still going on. Let me see what's going on. Or I still have it going. Let me see what's up. I think I'm having problems with Bluehost. I've had a few problems with them lately. They're my hosting company. But eventually, it took me like 3 hours, but I eventually tracked down the problem, got it back up, and then my most recent 5 posts, I had problems with the pictures on it. So it took me a while, but I eventually got that figured out, and yeah, it's just been a day. So I almost didn't get this up. I'm gonna try to do the ink review that I had next, but we will see how that goes. So it's been a couple months, actually, I think, since I've reviewed a journal. So I figured it might be a good time to get a journal going. So I figured I'd use the journal that I've been using for quite some time. This is the Omega Paper Grid journal. So I couldn't find much about Omega Paper. They said they've been around since 1952, but when I Googled them, I couldn't find anything. I don't know if it's an American company or anything, but just that they've been around since 1952 is all I could find on them. So a couple months ago, around the time I was looking for another journal to use for work, because I used to have a 2 page per day planner, and when I switched over to the weekly view for the day timer, I couldn't get it figured. I just couldn't do it very well. So I wanted to do something like bullet journaling for my work, and yeah, I did. I switched over to the bullet journal style and then ran out of one, so I figured I'd use this one. So I've actually been using this for a couple months now, almost daily, at least 4 to 5 days a week is how often I'm in work. So gave this a shot. It was fairly cheap on Amazon. Unfortunately, it's not available currently. Hopefully it'll come back soon because it's a pretty decent journal. I wanted one that had good quality paper that you could use for fountain pens, that wouldn't do a lot of bleed through and feathering. I also wanted something that was fairly cheap because I'm also going to use it fairly quickly. And then I wanted something that had a lot of paper in it. So this one kind of fit the bill. It wasn't as nice as like a Leuchtturm or a Rhodia paper, but I gave it a shot. So when I first received it, I thought it was decent. I'd never used a soft cover journal before. So this is my first time with a soft cover, and I have to say that I do prefer a hardcover because I'm not always able to have a writing surface, and so standing and trying to write on a soft cover journal isn't very nice. But over time, it was whatever. I also noticed too, let's see if I can get this in frame because my camera setup isn't the best. You can see that with the soft cover, the elastic band does lead to some indents. It's just aesthetic. It doesn't have any problems overall. But, it looks kind of bad sometimes. Also, I've noticed that the soft cover tends to wear a bit more. I've actually had this in the Lehat Lab Smart Fit A5 journal cover for a while, and that's actually where a lot of the wear and tear came from, surprisingly. So, my experience with it, it's been okay. It's the paper hasn't been the best quality. My writing experience on it, it's fairly smooth. There's a little bit of feedback. It's not overly annoying. There is slight feathering with most of my fountain pens. I wasn't able to get a super great view of, actually, let's see if I can get this in here. Sorry, like I said, my camera setup isn't the best. The diamine was ghosting slightly. The Noodler's Tchaikovsky wasn't that much. And then I did do a full set, like just a select sample of pens that are pretty common across the board, and some markers here, the Sharpie pen, for example, and a highlighter that I've been using for a while. Actually, I think I'm reviewing it next week. But like I said, the paper itself doesn't give a lot of feedback, but as you can see that ghosting from that fountain pen on the other side. And if I go over here, the marker's bleeding through, the highlighter's almost bleeding through over there, but you can see almost everything I've written on the other side of the page. You're not going to be able to determine what it says, but it's there. And so when I'm writing on the other side of the page, it's super annoying because sometimes it makes it difficult to see where the dots are to start, and it just looks like crap. I don't like it. It just looks bad. So that's probably my biggest complaint overall for this. If they had a thicker paper, I believe this is 80 GSM. Let me double check my notes. Yep, it's 80 GSM paper, which is a pretty good quality paper. I think if I have my my stats right, I believe a Leuchtturm has 80 GSM as well. And so it is possible to have very good quality paper in 80 GSM. Yep, Leuchtturm has 80 GSM paper. So, and those ones work great for fountain pens. There's almost no bleed through or ghosting. And it just makes me mad when companies do that sometimes and just do really low quality paper when it's the same weight and type of paper as some of the nicer brands. So some of the other things that it's got a lay flat binding, which you can see. I've been sitting here complaining about the paper for a good minute and a half, and it stayed open. That's been super nice. You don't have to worry about holding it down or folding it just to make it stay. The paper itself has a slight cream color, more towards the white end of the spectrum, which is a little bit softer on the eyes. And just, yeah, some people just prefer that. The dots are very light on this. I do like them to be a bit darker just because then you can see things better as you're writing with it. So overall, I think this is a decent journal. It's something good to start with. Something good if you're just looking for a cheap journal. Maybe not something that you're going to use on a day-to-day basis. I can't wait to get through it and switch over. I forgot what brand I bought for work next. My Leuchtturm is going to be my next blog bullet journal, so I'll review that eventually. But overall it's decent. I can't say I'd buy it again, but if you've used it, comment below and let me know what you think. But overall, I hope you like my review. As always, please hit the subscribe button and help me grow. I noticed a little jump in growth lately, and I'd greatly appreciate it if that continued. Thanks again, everyone.